What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I'm the Renegade J.J. Williams, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2011 film Bridesmaids, starring Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, Melissa McCarthy, Rebel Wilson, Chris O'Dowd, Terry Crews, and John Hamm. Thank you for joining me once again, as always, here on Renegades Reviews. We're going to keep with the chick flick theme, as it is still early February. Valentine's Day is around the corner, of course. We've given you Beaches. We've given you The Last Song. We've got a bunch more leading up to Valentine's Day, all lined up. And today we're talking about the 2011 film Bridesmaids, featuring SNL alumni Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph. This film centers around two lifelong friends, Annie and Lillian, Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph. Annie is single. She's in her mid-30s. She works at a jewelry store after losing her bakery due to the recession. And she also, as a result, lost her boyfriend and her life savings. She lives with roommates now, one of which is played by Rebel Wilson. And she's got kind of a friends with benefits relationship with Ted, played by John Hamm. But she wants more out of the deal, like most women. You know, she's seen her friends get married, settle down. You know, in her opinion, the sex is good, but she wants stability. Lillian, Maya Rudolph, is engaged, and she asks her best friend Annie to be the maid of honor. At the engagement party is where everything starts to unravel. Annie meets the rest of the bridesmaids: Rita, Becca, Megan, and Helen. And Helen, there's an instant rivalry when she meets her over the two's friendships. It kind of becomes like a triangle. Annie and Helen competing for Lillian's friendship. Annie takes Lillian and all the bridesmaids to lunch at a Brazilian restaurant prior to going to the bridal store. While the ladies are trying on gowns, the entire party, minus Helen, gets diarrhea from food poisoning. It doesn't affect Helen because Helen didn't eat the food. She just had like a salad, if I remember correctly. She didn't eat the same food. Then Annie has an idea for a bachelorette party, and she gets jealous when her idea gets overruled in favor of Helen's idea, a girls' trip to Vegas. Annie, being too proud to accept anything from Helen, who's kind of spoiled, comes from money, she pays for her own ticket and coach while all the rest of the girls are riding in first class. Annie doesn't like flying, though, so she takes a sedative, some alcohol, ends up hallucinating, causing a huge, big, dramatic scene on the airplane, which causes the plane to have a forced landing, an emergency landing. All the girls have to get on a bus to go back home. Annie apologizes to Lillian, but Lillian has decided at this point that she wants Helen to plan the wedding, not her best friend. And this is where Annie and her life really starts a downward spiral. On the relationship side of things, Annie is still clinging to hope for a stable relationship with Ted. But then she meets Nathan, a state patrol officer who pulls her over because of her brake lights. She has broken taillights. He was going to give her a ticket, a citation, but he ends up just letting her off with a warning, even gives her a business card for the local guy in town to take her car to get her brake lights fixed. The two end up bonding and have a romantic night together. And Nathan even tries to encourage Annie to reopen her bakery. Get back to what you're passionate about. He even goes as far as to try to surprise her with new baking supplies. But Annie just shuts her walls down. She doesn't want any part of that at this point in time. Then she gets fired from the jewelry store after being rude to customers because they're there to buy wedding rings and she's still bitter over what's happening with her best friend's wedding. So she kind of takes her hostility, her frustrations out on this couple and ends up getting fired over it. When she gets home after getting fired, she's kicked out of her living situation with her roommates, forces her to move in with her mother. So she's gone from not being allowed to plan the wedding, losing her job, losing her place to live, all in the span of about 15 minutes of movie. When Annie arrives at Helen's house for the bridal shower, she's angered and embarrassed to find out that Helen has completely stolen her ideas, which Helen had initially rejected when Annie tried to propose them to her. From the shower theme to a trip to Paris, from the shower theme, which was going to be a Paris, France theme, to giving her a trip to Paris, which is what Annie wanted to do as her gift, just completely stole her thunder. So she's understandably very upset about all this. She throws a tantrum. Lillian throws her out of the party and completely kicks her out of the wedding. Now, not only is she not planning it, she's not even her maid of honor. On the drive home, Annie gets into a car accident as a result of her broken taillights. Nathan arrives on the scene and completely goes off on her for not having gotten it fixed like she promised him that she would do. Like I said, he had even given her a business card of someone to go to get her lights fixed, and she completely ignored it. She accuses him of only being nice to her for sex after the romantic night that they had had. Ted arrives to pick her up and drive her home, and Nathan storms off because Nathan is now upset that not only did she not get her lights fixed, but she's using this guy instead of him when Nathan is clearly the nicer guy. When Ted tells Annie that he expects her to perform sexual favors in the car to kind of return the favor of him bailing her out and picking her up, she's over it. She makes him pull over and she gets out of the car and she walks home. After this, Annie becomes very reclusive. She just shuts down from everybody and everything. And then one day, Megan, one of the other bridesmaids, Melissa McCarthy's character, shows up and gives her a pep talk. She tells Annie basically to stop blaming others for her problems. Take control of her own life. And Annie's a little caught off guard by this because this is one of Lillian's friends. She never had any real connection to her. They were just going to be in this party together for Lillian's wedding. So she kind of takes her words to heart as an outsider looking in, as opposed to somebody that's on the inside trying to look out. And he starts baking again. She goes and she uses the business card that Nathan gave her, gets her car fixed. She even tries to fix things with Nathan by bringing him some baked goods that she had made in the supplies that he had bought her. Nathan's just like done with her. He completely ignores her. Because he's still upset from the way she went off with Ted on the night of the accident. He doesn't know about the falling out she had with Ted. On the morning of the wedding, Helen shows up at Annie's house. The two rivals face to face again. Helen is paranoid. She is begging Annie for her help because Lillian has disappeared. It's wedding day, she cannot find the bride. Helen apologizes to Annie for everything that she's done and admits to her that she doesn't really have any female friends. That the only females that she hangs around pretty much use her to plan parties. But she doesn't have any solid friends. They get Nathan to help, reluctantly. Because on the one hand, he doesn't want to do any favors for Annie. On the other hand, he is an officer of the law, so it is his job. But it takes a lot of convincing and trying on Annie's part to get Nathan to help. They find Lillian at her own apartment. Simplest place. Why they didn't go there before, we don't really know. But they find her at her apartment. Lillian has fled the wedding because of how over the top Helen's planning is. And her own fear of leaving Milwaukee, where the movie is set. Annie and Lillian make up. Lillian asks Annie to resume her role as the maid of honor. After the wedding, which both Annie and Helen admit was perfect, they vow to become friends, put their rivalry behind them, and try to move forward from everything. Wilson Phillips, who was one of Lillian's favorite bands, China Phillips, daughter of John Phillips from the Mama and the Papas, Carney and Wendy Wilson, daughters of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. They perform their hit song from the 90s, Hold On. And Nathan shows up, thanks to Helen, to pick Annie up from the wedding. The couple ride off together in Nathan's police car, presumably, of course, to live happily ever after. I didn't really know what to think when I started watching this movie. I'm not a big Kristen Wiig fan, and I'm not a big Melissa McCarthy fan. I do like Maya Rudolph. I enjoyed her on SNL. And I've enjoyed her in the couple of movies I've seen her in. I do like Rebel Wilson. I kind of wish her role had been a little bit larger than what it was, but she was a side character. So it is what it is. But I was impressed by this film. It was a lot better than I thought it would be going into it. And the appearance of Wilson Phillips, being a guy who grew up in the 80s and 90s, I was born in the mid 70s. So Wilson Phillips was like one of those bands that I really enjoyed their one hit, one album, if you will. I mean, they had a couple good singles off their debut album, but after that, they just kind of fell apart. But I really enjoyed seeing them perform Hold On. It was a very cute, chick flick for what it was. I'm going to give the film 3.5 out of 5 stars. Just because, like I said, it really, really surprised me from what I thought it was going to be to what it was. What do you guys think about Bridesmaids? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. As always, I will reply back to them. As always, let's try to get hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, and hashtag Renegades Returns, all trending on social media. Let's try to get some of those going. And of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans.
We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade JJ Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag StatBoyApproved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today.
Don't forget to do what the commercial just told you. Go to teespring.com/Jeff Meacham Network and pick you up a t-shirt from one of the members of the Casa D18 Brotherhood, whether it's my very own, the Renegade JJ Williams shirt, the Dad's Not on Wrestling shirt, Statboy Sports Bar, the hashtag StatBoyApproved shirt, or one of the Jeff Meacham Network ones, whether it's the network logo, Talk Wrestling, or Meachamania. Make sure you get out there and support. Tomorrow, here on Renegades Reviews, we will be taking a look at 27 Dresses, starring Katherine Heigl. This one I've seen a couple of times, and there was a time there in the early to mid 2000s when Katherine Heigl was really becoming the it girl. This movie was one of the ones that came out around that time. Thought she was really adorable in it. We'll get deeper into that tomorrow. So, make sure you tune in for that. And until next time, right here on Renegades Reviews, right here on the Casa D18 Studios Network, I am the Renegade JJ Williams. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.